Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
All right, guys. Hey, welcome back. I got a great guest. Usually, you might hear me and Deborah Wendt on the radio or podcast, but now I have my partner here on the Deborah Wendt show live with me. Welcome, Deborah. Welcome to the show. I got a lot to say for a second. When I had COVID, Deborah was so kind that she had sent in some things that worked very well. I actually had printed them out, and they were in my briefcase. And I wanted to show some people I care about some things that Deborah was so nice to show me, because she's the founder and the director of Stress Less Yoga Incorporated. That's in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. But virtually she can help anybody, as she did for me. The website is stresslessyoga.com, and she's been doing yoga meditation. She's been teaching for over 20 years. And there's so much to ask her about. You can call in 631-730-7376 or give me instant feedback. My producer will read it, because I can't read that far because we're doing the Zoom here. But just give me your name, city, state, and I'll ask Deborah live on the air. You can hear your name and your question, and Deborah will respond. So with no further ado, guys, it's one of my favorites and a true friend, Miss Deborah Wendt. Deborah, welcome back.
Thank you, Casey, and I'm just so happy that you're feeling better. It's a terrible thing when you're ill with anything, and when you've got this, those around you who can't, we want to make those that we care about feel better, and so whether you're someone who, is in a very stressful situation, be it an illness or, financial situation, or just kind of this crazy vibe we've got going on in the world, there are things that we can do to respond a little bit differently and to quiet our minds, this loop of worrying about things, and to also calm our nervous system. So whether you're the person like yourself who was not feeling well, that's stressful.
Yeah.
That's really stressful. Or if you're the person taking care of someone, or you're just worried about your friend or your colleague or your family member. One of the things we talk about so often is this 4-7-8 breath. So I'd like to do that with the listeners, if that's okay.
I'd love to too, but Deborah, I just want to tell you one thing before we get there is, the COVID thing, like in case people don't know, like I had the COVID, right? And Deborah sent a bunch, and I can remember now the most impactful thing was that you don't know what's happening when you have this COVID. It affects everyone differently, but what you did for anxiety and with breathing and getting centered, and that was the biggest thing that I took away. And I really appreciate that, because you don't know what, am I going to end up on a ventilator? But, glory be to God, I was okay. But you helped me with the anxiety, with the breathing. So thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you for that, because, the body needs the energy to heal. And I think one of the things I said to you is, because I know you're somebody who works hard, you're a go-getter, you're always on the go, 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 which so many of us are. But what happens when you can't go, go, go? The brain is going, oh my God, I should be going, going, going. I can't just sit here. I need to be doing something. Well, if you can quiet your mind, if you can calm your nervous system, if you can be still, then that energy that you would have used to be doing things, the body can now use to heal. We wake up every morning with a finite amount of energy to spend. And I say this in my retreats, and it's one of my mantras is, that we can't stop the stress from coming in, but we can learn how to respond to it. And so, it must have been very stressful. And if you're lying on the couch or lying in bed and thinking, oh, I need to be on the air, I need to be, that's something that was going on with you. I mean,
Totally.
that's normal.
Yeah.
That's normal. And so one of the things we talked about was the 4-7-8 breath. So I'd like to do that. We've done it before, but I'd like to do it with our listeners, because if you're going to stress less with Deborah Wendt, this is one of the perfect ways to do it.
Totally.
Simple breathing. You can do it anywhere, anytime, free of charge. So you begin by taking a slow, deep breath, inhaling through the nostrils quietly to the count of 4. 2, 3, 4. Hold that breath to the count of 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then exhale, whooshing. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale 4. 2, 3, 4. Hold 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale out. Push it out. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more. Inhale 4. Hold 7. 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Exhale 8. So it already feels better just with those 4 rounds of that breathing. And the reason for that, there's a scientific reason for that, is that we have 2 different nervous systems going on. We've got the parasympathetic nervous system, and we've got the sympathetic nervous system. We live in the sympathetic nervous system. That's where we get into fight or flight, or
Okay.
where we're hyper aware. But the parasympathetic nervous system is that system that calms us. It's the opposite of fight or flight.
Kind of like what we just did, almost.
That's exactly what we just did. Yes. And that breathing is really our only opportunity to tap into this parasympathetic nervous system that calms us. So your brain just calmed you. You don't have to believe it's true. You don't have to, if you just will do the breathing. Start with 4 rounds twice a day. What we did, each one of those was a round. Inhale 4, hold 7, exhale 8. And if you do that twice a day, and you do it as a regular practice, then, in a short period of time, you will really feel the effects of it.
I find myself doing it when I get cut off in traffic now.
Exactly. You can do it, or you can do it if you're waiting in your doctor's office. I'm a big one for wearing sunglasses, because when I'm in my doctor's office, or if I'm somewhere waiting, I can close my eyes and people don't know I've checked out, I'm doing my breathing, or I'm doing my mantra or something. And it's not something, people say, I don't have 30 minutes twice a day to meditate.
30 minutes.
Okay. Have you got 5? Have you got 2?
What we just did was very effective.
It was very effective, and it's something that you can do anywhere. So I'm hoping that our listeners will take that to heart, because it almost seems too good to be true, doesn't it?
It does. Well, let's see. Mr. Producer said he got something coming. What you got?
Yes, we have Janice from New Jersey. And she goes, I'm a very sensitive person, and usually things upset me when I know they shouldn't. What can I do to build a thicker skin and not be moved by words so easily?
Breathing.
You can do the breathing. Mindfulness. Now she just said, I get upset about things that I know I shouldn't get upset about. I think the word for that these days is triggering. So
Oh.
you got upset about something that you know you shouldn't get upset about. It's not really about you. It's about something, whatever. Just practice the breathe. Notice how your body feels when all of a sudden you notice a headache coming on, or you notice that your tummy's feeling a little tight, or anxious feeling. Notice what you're thinking at that moment. What am I thinking about? What was I thinking about when this headache came on, or this? Because our thoughts are so powerful, and every cell in our body eavesdrops on our thoughts. So if we're thinking about gloom and doom, or things that are outside of our control, or whatever, it affects the whole body.
To trigger.
Disease, dis-ease. You're out of ease with yourself. You're out of ease, out of harmony with your environment. So this breathing practice that we just did is an excellent way to notice. Okay, I've noticed that I'm upset. And so I'm going to immediately do something. You can't do a 180 and whatever you were upset about, go, miraculously, oh, I'm not upset about that anymore. Wouldn't that be nice? Though,
But with
but
this
you really
breathing, you can take a step back.
you can take a step back and go, I know that there's something I can do about this. I teach this breathing. We're involved, my husband and I. My husband got me involved with the Boys and Girls Club.
Oh,
He's
good.
on the board of the national organization, and we're very involved with the local organization here in South Florida. There are 11 clubs. But these kids, they have so much stress. They're in poverty.
Yeah.
Oftentimes it's a one parent household. Oftentimes there's drug or domestic violence or whatever going on with that. These kids have a lot of stress. And so I've gone in and taught them, how to breathe, how just some mindful movement, how to quiet their minds. And these are kids that rip and roar and tear, and they're always going. And we've done some surveys where we said to them, okay, you learned this last week. Did you remember any of it? What did you do? And without fail, it's always the breathing.
Yeah.
Because even if they're in their room and mom and dad are fighting somewhere else, or they didn't get enough to eat that night, they can breathe, and it's available to them. It doesn't require any equipment, and it's free. So whoever you are, wherever you are, really embrace this conscious breathing. It'll make a difference in your life.
And if anybody's got problems with anxiety, or if you're feeling like wound up, this helps. I'm a I'm an example to tell you it works. Hey, Mr. Producer, I know you got a bunch of instant feedback. Anything
Yes.
about breathing in there?
Um, no. But we do have a lot of questions regarding the mind, body, and spirit. Let's just cut over to Terry in Oregon. He goes, "What about yoga makes it great for the mind, body, and spirit?"
Yes, yoga is a Sanskrit word that means union, and that's union of body and mind and spirit, and the breath is the bridge. So while you're doing your yoga, if you're doing this, if you are fortunate enough to come across a class or find a class where the instructor is using the breathing techniques to get you into the postures to help you ease in a little deeper. It's not about who has their leg higher, or forget all of that. It really is just about how you feel, and using the breath to engage with the body. And if you do that, then you're automatically in tune with spirit. You are aligned, you are in alignment. So thank you for that question.
Gotcha. Mr. Producer, what else you got there, buddy?
We have Ian from West Virginia. He goes, "Do you view yoga as a more mental or physical?" Um, he didn't put a final word on that, but I
Ah,
just assumed.
that's a good question. I think I know what he's talking about.
That's a great question. I do it for both. And sometimes I do it more for one than the other. Listen, I'm a practitioner, I teach, it's my life, but that doesn't mean I don't ever get stressed or I don't ever get knocked off my
Of
center.
course, of course.
When you have these practices and you do yoga on a regular basis and you do meditation on a regular basis, when you get knocked off of your or the wheels come off the bus, get knocked off your center, you come back much more quickly to your baseline of being calm than someone else who's just freaking out over it. So I recently had a situation where I'd done a lot of driving with my husband. We love to go on these long beautiful rides, and I had driven too long and I did not use cruise control. So I'd been using my right foot on the pedal for hours and hours and hours. Well, I had, where I'm of a certain age too, so for the next few days I was feeling it, this right hip was kind
I gotcha.
of, in that instance, I was really doing a lot of yoga to stretch that out and to bring circulation to that hip area. But then sometimes I just do it because, I've had a day and I want to go in and I want to do some deep stretching and deep breathing and just let it all go.
Hey,
So it's
I'm sorry.
and one, the other, or both together, whatever
Okay.
works.
I have a question before Mr. Producer. I know you got a bunch over there, but is there a way to incorporate the yoga in the Epsom salt bath? Is that a dumb question?
No, actually, Casey, I never thought I'd be talking to you about this,
And I
but you
just lost
brought
some
it
cool
up.
points with
So, so here we
the meatheads at the gym.
Listen, I love a bath. I know a shower's great,
I
but
just don't fit.
I love a good hot soaking bath. It's great. And I love Epsom salts. And I love, they've got all these wonderful ones that are lavender or eucalyptus now where you can, and I love to stretch in there.
So you do that. So that's a real
I
thing.
do. I do. I don't think I ever called it yoga, but actually that's what it was. You just when you become aware, let your body guide you. Okay, this is feeling a little. So if I stretch here, oh, that feels good. How about a little bit more of that? Oh, if I breathe, then I do it again. It's a little bit more, and you're in this warm. So hey, I don't know who was it that asked this question.
I was
Whoever.
just thinking about it.
Oh, you were thinking about it. Oh, I like your style. Yeah.
I think we might have something here.
Might have something here. Hey, listen, you can do yoga anywhere. I did yoga at 30,000 feet. I was on a National Geographic jet tour, and we were going around, and the people, it was towards the end of it, and it was pretty grueling. We're on a plane 8 hours a
Right.
day, and then we're touring, and it's so much. So towards the end, I actually got up at the front of the plane and led the entire plane through chair yoga.
Chair
And
yoga.
chair yoga on the plane. Listen, anywhere you can do it from a wheelchair. You can do it, but it's the 6 directions of the spine, kind of backwards and hunching over, and then side to side in the spinal twisting, and then up from side to side. You're just getting some circulation going, and hey, listen, whatever you can do in the bath, figure it out.
Yeah,
That's
I
your
just wish they made them bigger because I'm a 200-pound guy, and there's not much you can do. But the Epsom salt, like for soreness, and I was asking you because you would know if you do stretching with the warm water and then the Epsom salts, maybe that can
it's
help some
really
people
good.
out.
Yeah, no, it's really very good. That's why this warm yoga or hot yoga. I don't really
Oh,
do hot yoga because I've done it before, but it's really too much for some people's respiratory systems. Other
right,
people
right.
swear by it. But then you've got that's about 105 degrees.
Oh,
But you've also got warm yoga that they do at about 80 to 85 degrees, which is like just open the door, the window here in
yeah.
Fort
In
Lauderdale.
Florida, yeah.
But the reason for that, think about this. If you have, you're a nice, are you an Italian guy there?
I
Did you,
have, yeah.
I bet that mama has made you some pasta before. So if you've got some dry spaghetti in your hands and you start to bend it, what happens?
Great
It
example.
breaks.
Breaks.
But if you toss it into some warm water, some hot water for a few minutes, what? Now it's nice and noodly, and that's what happens to your body. And so, yeah, and if you add the breathing to it, so let's say you're just going to bend and you're going to stretch out that lower back. So now, as you inhale, feel that you're breathing into that tightness, creating some space there. And then on the exhale, just go into that space you've created, easing in, and then another nice deep breath into that tightness, creating that space. Exhale, move into that space you've created.
That's
Okay.
awesome. Great example. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. I think I'm going to treat myself this Christmas. I want to get a big bathtub where maybe I can do some of the stretching in there. You swear by it, right?
Oh,
The
listen,
stretching, circulation.
I stretch everywhere I go. Yes, because it's great for the circulation,
And then
and
working
even
that breathing. I'm being a pear tree.
yes, 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 yes. So you've got it. If people sometimes I think they're too much in their heads and they think
Yeah.
yoga, oh well, we've talked about this before, or I've talked about it with other people. I don't think I'll ever be on the cover of Yoga Journal magazine. I'm not a 22 lithe something with my athletic wear. I'm a woman of I'm 66 years old, and
Really? I had no
yeah,
idea. God
there's
bless you.
good living, good clean living, yoga.
That's what it is, huh? Clean living.
Yeah, yeah. Well, not that clean. you
You're
know,
awesome.
I've lived my life and continue to live it. But you know what? If you offset it, listen, I'm all for just enjoying life and being there and having a great time, and then but taking care of your body,
Yeah. Yeah.
taking care of your body.
No doubt.
And it
Guys,
doesn't have to be anything difficult or it's very simple, very simple.
gotcha. Hey, I want everyone to go to stresslessyoga.com and you can find out more about my friend Deborah Wendt. There's so many people we didn't get to. I'm very sorry, but we ran out of time. But Deborah, I want to give you the last word here. Anything that you want to leave us with? Another great show, and thank you again for your concern and your thoughtfulness. I really appreciate that. But as my grandmother said, Deborah, you have the floor, so let me send it over.
Okay. All right. Well, you're more than welcome. And I hope that you continue to feel better and better. But I would leave everybody with this. There are things you can do, no matter what your circumstances are, no matter where you are. You can do this conscious breathing, and then from there, we can lead that into meditation. Inhale 4, hold 7, exhale 8 through the mouth. Thank you, KC.
Awesome. That's my friend Deborah. Guys, we'll be right back. Thank you, Deborah.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.